Hello friends, welcome to Data Science Lovers. In this video, we will analyze the dataset of Spotify and YouTube with the help of Python. First of all, we will import the required libraries. Then this is our dataset here. These are the columns of this dataset. Then we have used the info function to check the basic information about the data. Then we have removed the unwanted column from this dataset. After this, we are checking the null values in every column of this data frame, and we are dealing with these null values by using the fill_na function and by using the drop_na function also to remove the null records. And we have here 9 questions. This is our question number 1. Here we have used the group by function and the sort values function also. This is our second question. Here we have separate out 2 columns to make a different data frame. Next we have question number 3, and before this we have a small exercise for you based on second question. This is question number 3 here, and here in this question we have draw a pie chart. This is the basic information about pie chart. Question number 4, here also we have used the group by function and the mean function on the columns. Then we have used the reset index function. Also we have used the melt function from pandas library. Then we have drawn a bar plot using seaborn library. This is question number 5th, and here we have drawn a horizontal bar chart. This is question number 6th. Here we have used the sort values function, and this is question number 7. Okay, here we have created a new column to show the like versus views ratio. And question number 7a means a small exercise for you. Then we have question number 8. Here we have used the filtering method. And at last we have question number 3, where we have drawn a correlation matrix between different columns of this data frame, and we have shown this correlation matrix with the help of a heat map. First of all, we will import the all libraries required for this analysis. We are importing the pandas library, numpy library, seaborn library and matplotlib library. Now we will import our dataset here in this Jupyter notebook. Our dataset is in CSV file format, and this is our dataset here. Okay, here in this dataset we have about 20,000 rows and 28 columns. Let's see in this Excel format. This is our actual dataset. Here we have multiple columns like artist of the song, the URL and the track, the album, and then we have the some attributes for the each track, and then we have the duration also for each track, the channel and the views on YouTube, the likes on YouTube, and how many comments are there for each track, the description, and whether the track is licensed or not, and means how many times a track is streamed on Spotify. So let's start. These are some questions that we will solve with the help of Python here. First of all, we will understand about data. So we will use a command columns to check the column names here. Here we have the column names. Then we can use the info function to check some basic information about the dataset. Here in this dataset we have about 20,718 rows. Okay, and these are the 28 columns starting with unnamed 0, and the data type of each column is also shown here: integer, object, float, like this. Okay, here we have 15 float columns and 1 integer columns. Others are object columns. Here I have written the comments for each line of code for your better understanding. Now we will drop some unwanted column from the dataset, and as you all know, to drop the column we have to use the drop function. our data frame dot drop, and here we have to drop the columns. So I will pass my first parameter columns, and inside this we have to pass the names of our column that we want to delete from this data frame. So there are about 4 columns that we will delete, and we can select from here the unnamed or first column. These are the 4 columns that are of no use in our analysis part, so we are removing this, and we have to put another parameter in place equal to true. It will remove the columns permanently from our data frame. So after running this, we will check our data frame, and this is our data frame now, and here we have 24 columns after removing the 4 columns. Now we will check for the missing values in each column of the data frame, and to check the missing values we have 2 functions. First one is isNA, or you can use isNull also. Okay, anything you can use. So I am using here isNA function, and on this function we have to check the sum of all missing values in each column. So we will use the sum function also. Running this, it is showing each column and with the counts of missing values in these columns. In our first 4 columns there is no missing value, it is showing 0, and in these columns we have 2 missing values, it is showing 2, and in other columns also we have many missing values. Like this is the description column where we have maximum missing values, which is 876. Now we will remove these rows from this data frame. Here in these 2 columns, the like column and the comment column, we are considering that on that particular track there is no like and there is no comment. So we will not remove these records where the likes and comments have missing values, but we will fill them with a value of 0. To see the use of fillNA function, we can consider our notes here, and it is showing dataframe.fillNA function is used to fill all the missing values with a given number. You can also get these notes. The link is given in the description of this video. Now we will fill the missing values with 0 in the like and comment column. This is likes and this is comments. Okay, so you have to give the exact name of the columns to avoid any error. So we will consider our first column, the likes column. On this column we will use fillNA function. Inside this function we will pass the value. Here we have to fill 0, so I will pass 0 here, and we will save the output in our original column likes into this. After running this, the command has been executed. Similarly, we will fill the comments columns also. So data and column name comments. In this column we will fill with 0 as well, and save the result in our original column like this. Okay, so our likes and comments columns are fully filled, means there is no missing values in these 2 columns now. Now we check again the sum of missing values. This time I am using isNull function, and on this function I am using sum function as well. So here you see the likes and comments columns have 0 missing values. Now to handle the missing values of other columns, we will simply drop the records where we have missing values, and to drop the records we will use the dropNA function on our data frame. And drop NA, and here we will use in place equal to true parameter to make the changes permanently, means to remove the rows or records permanently from our data frame. And running this, so the rows with missing values are removed now. Now if we check our this command again, it is showing 0 for each column, means there is no missing value in our data frame now. Again we can use the information function to check the basic information about our dataset. So here you can see there are 19,298 non-null values in each columns. If we talk about dropNA function, then dropNA function is used to remove all the records that contain any or all missing values. Okay, now let's move to our first question here. Our first question is, we have to show the top 10 artists having the highest views on YouTube. So let's have a look at our data frame first of all using the head function. This is our data set. Here we have to consider this artist column where we have the artist of each track, and the second column we have to consider the views column. Here if we go on the right side we have the views column, so we have to consider these two columns. Okay, I am showing only top 2 records here. Now first of all we will make a group of all the artists in this data set using the group by function on our data frame. And on this data frame we will use group by function. Inside this function we have to pass the name of the column that we want to consider. Here we will consider our artist column to make group, and after this we have to mention our second column that we want to consider with this artist column. So our second column always mention in square brackets. Here we will pass views column. Okay, now after this we have to get the sum of all views against each artist, so we will simply use the sum function. This is our command here, and we will save the result. Suppose first I run this. Okay, it will look like this. We can save this result in a variable. I am naming my variable here like artist grouped. Okay, now if I try to explain this group by function using our Excel sheet, here we have artist column. In this artist column we have different artists. Here if we make the group of this first artist, all the rows where artist gorillas is present, a group will be formed, and similarly this is our second artist, a group will be formed for this artist, and a group will be formed for this artist as well, and so on. Okay, now suppose this is our first group here. From here this is our first group. All the corresponding views will be considered and summed up here to show in a single value. Okay, so here it will be sum, and the sum is about, I am not mentioning the exact value, suppose I am mentioning 204 here. Okay, against our artist this one. Secondly we will make the group of second artist like this, and this is our second artist. Here I will highlight like this, and this is the sum of views for this artist. Here sum is 406. Okay, 406, and our group name is this one. Similarly our third group, and the sum will be considered, and here sum is coming 456, so 456, and the group name for this artist is this one. Okay, so here you can see we have 3 different groups and the sum of all views against each group. Okay, now we will sort this output in the descending order because we have to find the top 10 artists. Okay, so we have to keep the top artist at the top, so we will consider this output here, and on this we will use a function known as sort values to sort the values here. Okay, here we will use a parameter in this which is ascending, as we have to sort the result in descending order, so we have to write ascending equal to false. Now we will run this, and the values are sorted in the descending order. Okay, we will save this in another variable. Suppose I am naming the variable as artist sorted. Okay, here we have the top artist in the first few rows. Okay, we have to show the top 10 artists, so simply on this we can use the add function, and inside this function we will pass 10 here to show the top 10 values. Okay, so these are the top 10 artists and with the highest views on YouTube. These are the views in billions. Okay, you can convert these numbers using the Google. Ed Sheeran is the top artist, Coco Melon is second top artist, Katy Perry is third top artist. This. moving to the next question, we have to mention the top 10 tracks, okay, with the highest stream on this Spotify. This question is similar to our question number first, but we will solve this in a different way. This is our data frame. Have a look at our data frame. Here we have to consider the artist column, okay, top 10, sorry, we have to consider the track column and the highest stream on Spotify, and so we have to consider the stream column. We will consider these two columns, so we can take out these two columns in a different separate data frame, our data frame name, and we will consider the two columns. First one is track and second one is stream. We have to check the exact name, it is stream here, okay. We will run this. So two columns from this data set are taken out. We will save this, suppose in a variable name x, and this is our x, okay. Now we will sort this data frame as per our requirement, and x, again the sort value function. Here we have to use the parameter by, means by which column we want to sort our data frame. Here, as we have to show the result with the highest streams, so here we will sort by stream column, stream, okay. And now as we have to show the top records at the top of our result, so we can pass ascending equal to false, okay. Running this, it will show the data frame in descending order, means top numbers, or you can say the track with highest stream, and this is the top track, blinding lights, this is the second top track, shape of you, and here we have to show the top 10 tracks, so we will simply use our head function, and inside this function we will pass 10 here, and we can save the output in a variable. I am choosing the variable as most stream track, okay. Now if we see the output, most stream track, this is our final result. The blinding nights is our top track, and the track believer is our at top 10th position, okay. Here I have a question for you. You have to show the 5 tracks having the lowest streams on Spotify. Here I have put the comments for you. We are creating a new data frame with two columns, track and stream, and here we are sorting the data frame with respect to the stream column. Moving to our third question, we have to show what are the top most common album types on Spotify. How many tracks belongs to each album type. First of all, let's again have a look to get the ideas about our column names. So here we have to consider this column, album type, okay. First of all, let's check how many unique album types are there, and for this we will use the unique function on this column of our data frame, album type, and on this column we will use the unique function. It will show all the unique values present in this column. Here we have album, we have single, we have compilation. So we have to show which one is the most common album type here. For this we can use a very useful function which is value count. So I will consider our column name again, album type. Here if you see, we can consider a column of a data frame using this syntax, or as well as using this syntax, okay, using the square brackets or using a simple dot here, okay. Now on this column we will use the value count function, value. If I show you the use of value count function, the value count function shows all the unique values of a column with their counts, okay. So let's see the result. Our data frame, album type column, and value count function. It is showing each value, album, single, compilation, and the sum of their counts, okay. For album we have about 13,000 rows, for single we have 4,000 rows, and for compilation we have about 693 rows in this data frame. So it is clear from here that most common album type on Spotify is album, and these are the tracks belongs to each album type. Now we will draw a pie chart showing the results of this album type, and we can save the output in a variable name. I am naming the variable as A type. You can give any name for this, and this is our A type. Okay. From the matplotlib library, we will use the pie function to draw the pie chart. Here in this function, we have our first variable, which will be our data. Our data is stored in this A type variable, so I will use this. Next, we have to give the labels to our pie charts. Suppose I will run this one by one. Okay, after entering each parameter here, when I run this first, it will show the output like this. Okay, now to remove this unnecessary rows, we can simply use plt.show here. Okay, like this. Now we want to give the labels to this pie chart, so we can use the parameter labels. Now on this label, we want these names: album, single, compilation. So these are the index of our series. So we will consider our series the output, or you can say this is our series output. So A type dot index, it will fetch out the index like this. This is our album part, the blue color, the green color is compilation part, and the orange color is single part. Okay. Next, we can also use a parameter known as auto PCT. Let's see what is this auto PCT. From our notes of matplotlib library, if I find out auto PCT like this, auto PCT is used to show the percentage on the chart using string format. Let's see how to use this. This is the format, you can say. I will copy and paste here. Let's see, after running this, it is showing the percentage of each part in this pie chart. Album is 72.3% of this whole 100%, and 24% is single, 3.6% is compilation. Okay. Next, we can use our second parameter, which is start angle. Here I can give start angle as 60. After running this, you can see that the angle of this chart is changed now. Next parameter, we can change the colors of these pie charts. Suppose I give the color to album as magenta, and color to single as yellow, and color to this one compilation as red. After running this, it is showing error because we have to mention the parameter as colors. Okay, so this, it will look like this. Next, we can put the shadow also. Shadow equal to true, so it will drop some shadow. It is not showing here, but it will be visible when we will use our next parameter, explode. Explode equal to, let's see what this explode do. This explode is used to cut the slices out. Okay, so we have to give a portion here. Suppose I give 0.05 to each, 0.05 to all three labels. After running this, it will cut out the portion like this. Okay, here we can use our another parameter, which is PCT distance. This parameter is used to distance out the percentage from the center. Means if I set is 0.75, the percentage is shown here. When I will set is suppose 1, the percentage will be mentioned here. So it is better to mention it as 0.75 here. Okay, so this is our pie chart for this question. Album is the most common album type. The second number is single, which is 24%, and the last is compilation, which is 3.6%. This is the basic overview of a pie chart. Okay, with the parameters uses. Moving to our next question, we have to tell how do the average likes, average views and comments are compared between different album types. To solve this question, first of all, we have to group our all album type again, and data frame dot group by, and consider the column album type. On this column, this time we have to consider three different columns, which are views, likes and comments. Okay, so to consider multiple columns, we have to pass two square brackets. Here we have considered all three columns, likes, views and comments, and here we have to find the average of these three columns. So we will simply use the mean function like this, and running this, it will show the output here, and the album type is shown here, and all three other columns are shown here, and the mean is shown this. Okay, we will save the output in a variable, suppose df, and this is our df. Let's see the type of df. If we check, it is a data frame. In this data frame, the album type is index here. We will convert this index into the column of this data frame, so we can use the reset index function. Our data frame df, on this we will use reset index function. After running this, the index is changed to 0, 1, 2, and the actual index is now converted into our column of the data frame. We will save this in our actual data frame df. Now to show the result in a form of a bar plot, we have to melt this data frame using the melt function. So here we will use from pandas pd, where we will use melt function. Our first parameter here will be our data frame or data that we want to use, and we will consider data frame here df. Next parameter will be our id verse. Here we have to put the column name. Here we want to consider album type column, album and type. Okay, next parameter will be our variable name. It will be considered as var name. Here we will give the name of our choice. Suppose I am giving attribute here, and our last parameter is value name, and the value name, here we have to mention the name of our choice. I am mentioning total here, and when we will run this, it will look something like this. So simply you can say melt means unpivot a data frame. Earlier the data frame was in this format. Now after melting, the data frame is changed to this format, which will be used to draw the bar plot. We will save this output in another variable. Suppose we can give data frame but melted. Okay, you can give any name here, and now we will draw the bar plot. To draw any plot, first of all we have to set our figure size using the figure function plt.figure, and now we will use the C1 library SNS and the bar plot. Inside this we have to pass our parameters. First parameter is our x-axis. What we want on x-axis? On x-axis we want the column album type. What we want on y-axis now? We want this total column. You have to give the exact naming. And next parameter is hue. For hue we will consider this attribute column. Let's rename this as attribute. Okay, attribute. Now we can pass the attribute here. The last parameter here will be our data. Our data is stored in this data frame df melted. So we will simply put this. After running this, it will draw a bar plot like this. Okay, it is showing album compilation single on the x-axis, which are our album type, and it is the total of likes, views and comments. In album, the likes is this one, and the views are maximum, and there is a little comments also. Similarly, in compilation the views are more, and in single also the views are more. There is a little value of likes and comments also in each album type. So this is how our average likes, views and comments are compared between the different album types. Moving to our next question, question number 5. We have to show top 5 YouTube channels based on the views. Okay. So our data frame, we have to consider the views column here, and based on this views column we have to show the top 5 channels. First of all, we will make the group of the channels, and on each group then we will count the sum of views. Okay, let's create the groups for the channel names. So our data frame name dot group by function. Inside this we have to pass our first main column. Here our main column is channel because we want to create group for channels, and second our column will be views because we want the sum of views against each group of channel. So we will use the sum function. After running this, it will make the group of channels and the sum of views for each group is shown here. Now we will sort this in descending order. So as I told earlier, we can simply use the sort value function on this sort values. Inside this function we have to pass ascending equal to false. Okay, after running this it will show the result like this. We will save this in a variable. Suppose channel views I am naming as C views here, C views, and if we see the top 5 results of this output, this is the output. Means T series is the top most channel having the highest views on YouTube. Second is this one, third one is this one, and fifth top most YouTube channel is ED Shirin. Now to show this result in the form of bar plot, we can use the Seaborn library here. Let's draw a bar plot using the Seaborn library. Using, first of all, we will set the style, set style. Here I am setting as white grid. Next we will draw the bar plot, SNS dot bar plot. Our first parameter, what we want on x-axis, x equal to, on x-axis we want views, on y-axis what we want, on y-axis we want channels, and our data frame, we will consider this data frame C views. Before entering this data here, we have to make a little change here, as we have to show the top 5 YouTube channels. So in this variable C views we will save our top 5 channels. So we will use head function here instead of using here. Okay, so after running this one, and again this one, C views is a data frame. Now we can enter our data here. In our data we need C views. When we will run this, it will draw a horizontal bar plot like this. This T series has maximum value, then this one, then this one, then ED Shirin. Okay, we can give a single color here to all bars. Suppose I want color as black. You can give any name of your choice. So this is our bar chart. Here we can give our x-axis, y-axis and title also. The title is given here, top 5 channels by views. On x-axis we have views, on y-axis we have channel, and we will run this, it will look like this. So this is our final bar plot, which is showing top 5 channels based on the views. Moving to our next question. The next question is, we have to show the top most track based on the views. So here we have to show a single track which has the maximum views on it. So our data frame, inside this data frame we have to consider this track column, and we have to find the track which has the maximum views on it. So we will choose another column, views. To get this answer, we will sort our data frame with respect to the views column using the sort values function. Data frame name and sort values Inside this function we have to pass a parameter by which we want to sort. We want to sort with views column, sending equal to false, and when we see the result it will show top records like this. Here we have the top track as Despacito, and we can show this simple record using the head function, and this is our answer. This is the topmost track based on the views. Here the data frame is sorted with respect to the views columns in descending order. Okay, and the views on this track are this much. Moving to the next question. Which top 7 tracks have the highest like to view ratio on YouTube? So here we have to consider the like to view ratio. Okay, so again data frame. Let's separate out the 3 required columns, the tracks, the likes and views. We will consider these 3 columns. We will save this in a data frame, or first of all we have to save this in a variable. So I am naming this variable as track, and I am giving it LV, likes, views. You can give any name. So this is our track LV data frame. Now we have to consider these 2 columns, likes and views, to create a new column for the ratio. So we have to consider this data frame, and on this data frame I am creating a new column like view and ratio. In this column we will have the likes column and divided by the views column. So it will give us the ratio, and we will multiply this by 100 and a new column will be created. Now when we will have a look at our track LV data frame, the new column is this one. Now we can simply sort this entire data frame with respect to LV ratio, or you can, it is ratio. Okay, we can, now we have to remove this extra column, so I will remove it. I used this command to remove the column. Now we have to sort this data frame with respect to this LV ratio column. So our data frame track LV, and sort values function on this column, and by the column name LV ratio, and ascending equal to false. Running this, it will sort the data frame in descending order. We can also see the top 5 records using the head function, and these are the top 5 tracks. Okay, the intro track has the maximum like to view ratio, and then safety zone, future, and this one. Okay, so like to view ratio means how many viewers like the video after viewing it. Okay, here 24.9 means out of 100 viewers 24, or you can say about 25 people likes this video, and similarly here 17.9 means out of 100 people 17 or 18 people like this track. Now coming to our question, we have to show the top 7 tracks with the highest like to view ratio. So inside this head function we will simply use the 7 that will show the top 7 tracks. This is our final output for this question. Here I have a question for you for exercise. You have to mention the top 3 tracks having the lowest like to view ratio on YouTube. Now moving to our question number 8, we have to show the top albums having the tracks with maximum danceability. When we were checking our data frame, we had a column, the danceability. Here we have to consider this danceability column and the album column. First of all, we will group the album column, and data dot group by function on this album, and the second column we will choose is danceability. Okay, and we will see the sum. Now using this command we will create the group of all unique albums present in this album column, and after creating the groups we will consider the danceability column and take the sum of danceability, okay, for each group. Now after taking the sum we will sort this, because we have to find the top records. So again we have to sort, and again false. Okay, running this, it is the output here. It is showing that the album greatest hit is the top album having the tracks with maximum danceability. Okay, we will save this in a variable of your choice. T, I am naming it danceability. Okay, this one, and this is our output for this. Here we can notice that these are the top 5 albums with the required output. And if we see the tracks related with this album, then simply we can use the filtering on the album column. First we have to consider the album column, okay, and filtering, we have to find out the records having the value or having the string greatest hits, and we will put this syntax in the square brackets like this, and it will show the album greatest hits, and these are the tracks here. Okay, so there are multiple tracks here, and if we see the counts, there are about 28 tracks inside this album greatest hits. Moving to our next question, we have to show the correlation between likes, views, comments and stream columns of this data frame. So this is the data frame dot head function. Okay, let's first select these 4 columns from this data frame, and data views, likes, comments, stream. Running this, this is our new data frame, and we will save this in any variable name views, likes, comments and stream. Okay, so this is the output VLCS. Okay, now we will create a correlation matrix for this data frame using the CORR function. So we will use data frame VLCS dot CORR. It will show the correlation matrix like this. We can use heat map also to draw this matrix using the Cbon library sns.heatmap, and inside this we have to pass this. So this is our correlation matrix for these 4 columns. As you know, the correlation matrix, the values lies between -1 to 1. 1 means the 2 columns are highly correlated with each other. If the value of one column increases, then the value of corresponding other column will also increase. So if we see this column likes and views, these 2 columns are highly correlated. Means if there are too many views on a particular track or video, then the likes are there also so much. Similarly, these 2 columns, stream and comments, are not highly correlated, because when someone plays a track on a Spotify, then no one likes to comment on the stream on the Spotify, or there is no option to comment on the Spotify's stream. So these are not highly correlated. That's all friends for this video. Here I have put the comments for your understanding, so that you can easily understand each line of code, and you can download this solved source code from the link given in the description of this video. So friends, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel Data Science Lovers for more project videos.